Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, ASIATHABIRD. Today, I have a very special guest with us today. She is a celebrity manicurist, salon owner, and entrepreneur. Please welcome the legendary Pattie Yankee. Hello, Pattie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Asia. Thank you so much for having me.
You are most welcome. So I want to go ahead and get started with this interview by asking, where are you originally from and how did you get started in the nail industry?
I am originally from Michigan, a small town called Durant. It's between Flint and Lansing. I always wanted to be a dancer, actually. I taught dancing for 15 years. So I was actually in Florida teaching dancing at a dance school. And I was out searching for one of my students. This is like the best story because she was always trying to go smooch with her boyfriend while she was supposed to be taking class. So I was trying to go find her. And I saw there was a nail salon next door and a guy came out. He was smoking a cigarette. He was a nail tech there. And he was like, "Can I see your hands?" And I'm like, "Listen, I'm looking for my student. I don't have time for this." And he's like, "Listen, I need a model for a nail competition." He's like, "Can I just see your hands?" So he looked at my hands and he's like, "Please, can I use you for my model?" So that's basically how it started. I became his hand model for a nail competition. And I just got interested in it from there, watching him do nail art. And then he said he would help me through nail school. So, he kind of encouraged me as well to start nail school. So I did that in Florida. I went to nail school in Florida, but I still had these hopes in being like Paula Abdul because I'm old. So that was my dance idol. So I came to New York. I met my husband, came to New York, and I came up here to pursue dancing as well. But it didn't really work out that well, and I wound up doing nails. So here I am.
Oh, wow. That's really incredible. Now, who are
Yeah.
like your favorite nail artists?
My favorite nail artists. As far as art goes, you mean, or the nail techs that I respect in the industry?
Yeah, it could be nail techs, nail artists.
Yeah, I actually my go-to person is Lisa Comfort. She's my mentor. She's been, in the industry for a long time. There's a few people that I really looked up to, and she's one of the last ones that are still alive. She's really important to me. I love Kim, like Kim Nails, like that does in California. She's a really good friend of mine. I love Kimmy Keys. I love oh my God, there's so many that I love. But a lot of them that I'm really close to are the ones that we share clients like back and forth across like the states. I love of course Lauren from Wildflowers. That's like, she's awesome. So I mean the main ones that I'm really impressed with and that I like really respect and honor are those that we share like celebrity clients across the continent. So.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get into salon ownership. So, what has been your experience owning your own nail salon?
Okay, it's honestly, I realize that I'm not like the best boss. I have a tendency to become too friendly with my workers. And it was much different when I started out. It was a much different game back then, I have to say. You know what I mean? It was like
Mm.
a lot nowadays, I feel like a lot of the nail techs want to go be on their own. They want to be independent and have their own thing. So it's hard to keep them in a salon environment right now, I feel personally. When I started out, I used to have everybody do everything the same way so that if somebody left or went on vacation, they could go to another nail tech without feeling like they're missing out on certain steps or, the procedure isn't done properly. So I used to train my girls to do everything exactly the same, which is kind of how I got connected with Dashing Diva franchises that hired me to, travel all over the world and open up franchises because I actually presented them with like one of my copies when I went to them for an interview, a copy of like the training that I did for my own salon.
Mhm.
But as time went on, I noticed that it got a little bit more difficult to hold on to people because they do want to go out on their own, which is, it's understandable. They want to do that. So as of late, I actually in New York, right before the pandemic, I started converting my salon into like a rental space. So people that wanted to go out on their own, they can come in and like rent a table from me for however many days a week to see if they can be comfortable enough to go out on their own. So I kind of became a stepping stone for them. So they can just stop by me, try to do their own thing, and then they can go on to do have their own full place later on, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's really, really cool. Now, I want to get into in terms of like, how does one start their own nail salon? How does one go about opening up a nail salon?
Well, for me, like I started out very humbly because I just knew I wanted to do it. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody else. So I just, I actually like look for a space. That's the first thing you have to do, go through whatever town you're in or district, make sure that you have the proper licenses. And from there, just look for equipment. I found there's a nice place that's near where I was that they have like discounted furniture and stuff that salons that didn't make it have, they have for sale there. So I got
Mhm.
those discounted tables. I started out very humbly, and then
Mhm.
I grew as time went on. As I got busier, I started improving, and I would, improve my furniture, improve the chairs, improve everything about my salon. So it's basically just, getting the furniture together, make sure you have all the proper licenses and stuff in place, and then have people to work. But you have to have, like the saying goes, 20% of your clients supply 80% of your income. You can't just open up a salon and think people are going to come in because you have a nail salon. You have to have that core. That's the most important advice that I would give anybody. You have to have that core base of clients that they can hold you through, and they can pay your rent, they can pay your bills just with that core group of clients and with yourself, you know?
Mhm.
So that's how I did it with just, I knew that I could make the money off my core clients to pay my bills. So anything else that came on was extra, and that was the income for me. So I
Mhm.
feel that's sometimes that's a mistake people make. They invest too much in like the aesthetic of the salon, and then they expect people to come in because the salon looks great, and that's not always the case. It goes more by your reputation, and they want a relationship with a nail tech, and they want to know that that nail tech is good.
Right. I could definitely agree with that. Now, in terms of with marketing, how does one go about putting out the work and marketing their work to other people?
Okay. To gain clients,
Yeah,
right?
getting clients.
Um, I feel like I'm like a dinosaur when I say this, but when I started out with this procedure that I did. If my clients, like, they liked what I did, if they
Mhm.
sent me two clients that came in, I would give them like a percentage off. I would give them like $20 off their service. And
Mhm.
that's how I grew my business. I know today it's a lot different with social media, but I still feel that word of mouth is, that's the best marketing that I feel, because people like to hear like testimonies, like verbal testimonies, like, oh yeah, this person is great. So I feel like that's really important, to just have your clients actually market for you. If they like your nails, give them your cards, or, give them your Instagram, and have them, if people compliment their nails, make sure that they are also doing that for you, like referring those people that are looking at their nails back to you, back to your salon. I feel
Mhm.
that that's one of the best ways to have your clients actually do it for you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. In terms of with, I want to continue back onto salon ownership. So, how,
Okay.
how important in terms of to gather insurance and have inventory? How important are those type of documents for owning a salon, especially like medical records, consultations, and things like that?
I feel like they're very important. Like, you definitely need to have insurance to cover yourself. That's, thing that I didn't really know about in the beginning. And it was maybe like I was 5 years into owning a salon before I even thought about getting insurance to cover, if anything happened to the clients, if there any damage was done. Inventory, I'm kind of a fanatic with inventory, so I always have excess of everything. I always make sure that I have a backup of a backup so that I don't run out. And if something's on sale, I always buy multiple, pieces of that item while it's on sale, so I can get it at a better discounted rate. And for my clients, I always had them fill out a like a little client questionnaire when they came in, so I could keep track if they had diabetes, if they had any medical conditions that I needed to be aware of. And I mean, I'm a paper person, so I still keep them to this day, like on paper and like a notebook, but
Hmm.
that's the way I like to do things. But for me, I like to see things like, tangibly when I'm looking up something. So, and I had a habit of I have a habit of making notes on my clients, even in my appointment book or in my schedule, things that happened to them when they came in. If I see that this nail is broken, or that they're started this type of medication, I always make note of it, so I know next time they come in, is it me? Is it, was it one of my technicians? Did they do something wrong with the procedure, or could it
Hmm.
be the client or something that the client's dealing with? So it's really important for you to maintain, a good clientele, and for them to respect you and respect your knowledge and that you're an educator, that you're educated on these things, that you can help them.
Yeah, absolutely. I want you to give your perspective in terms of nail education. Like, what is your whole take with the nail education system that we have here in the United States?
Honestly, I feel like there is a bit lacking right now, because I feel like too many people are educating that aren't qualified to educate. I feel like they're missing like the foundation. I feel like a lot of the techs nowadays, they may be a great artist, which is great. And it's okay if you want to do a class on nail art, but I feel like the basis and the foundation of like nail care is really missing. And I feel like
Mhm.
there's not really anybody giving that. And I feel like there's too many things happening, like, like the Russian manicure, for instance, is like, it's a big craze right now. But actually, in the state of New York, I'm a proctor for New York State for the nail specialty exams. And it's against the law to cut that tissue. And it's still being taught in New York because there's nobody really to, I don't know what you want to say, police it. There's not enough people to
Mhm.
police it right now, so they can't control it. But I feel like there is a lot of education, but is it the kind that we need? Some of it is, a lot of it's more artistic, but I still feel that we need that basis and the care of the nail and the health of the nail, and how to tell if people have medical conditions and things like that, that you can see through the nail plate. I feel like there's not enough of that education going on.
Mhm. Yeah, I could definitely agree with that because like I went to cosmetology school, so I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I took
Hmm.
cosmetology courses in high school, and we only learned like a small sector of nails. So we learned a little bit of like nail care and acrylic nails, but we didn't learn like how you said like a depth of nails and
Yes.
understanding nail care, understanding different clients and different types of nail shapes. And that's something I definitely believe with the beauty education system that has to be improved a lot more because that helps, especially people want to get into nails like myself that are in the nail industry, who are in the nail industry, you know, are better equipped. And so that way we don't learn so
Hmm.
much on our own. Cause that's kind of like with me, I had my license, but I still had to learn a lot of the stuff on my own before and after I got my license.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of blame myself. I talk to Lisa Comfort about this a lot, that we really need to do something with it, because she's really into the anatomy of the nail and the health of the nail, and she's really like the only person that I know in the United States that has that depth of education and knowledge. So we talk about it a lot, that we should do a course on that,
Mhm.
so that it will help the nail techs coming up, because that's really, you need a good foundation for
Mhm.
everything. Nail art and everything is fine, but if you don't have a good foundation, nothing's going to last, and you will see problems down the line. They might not see problems now, but a year from now you could see something happening with the nail plate
Mhm.
being deteriorated or detaching from the nail bed. You never know what's going to happen, if you're not qualified to do certain things. I feel like there's a lot of people too doing that, using electric files that aren't qualified to use electric files. People doing the Russian manicure because they think it looks good for the photographs, when it's not something they should be doing, or they're not qualified to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the thing. And I think that needs to be more expressed more in terms of education, especially, not only just dealing with clients, but also understanding blood spill, understanding like what happens if you
Yes,
do cut the cuticle off, because that can cause an infection. Understanding more about the nail disorders and diseases. That's something that I think we have to keep those things in mind.
exactly. They're really important. There's so many times that I've noticed things in my clients' nail plates that, I had them go check it out with a doctor, and they said their doctor was so impressed that I noticed it. But I said that I remember going over those diseases in nail school. That was the most interesting part to me. And I'm really, adamant about checking on people's nail plates and seeing if I see anything different, so I can help them, and, have them go check with their physician if they need to, about their own health.
Mhm.
So it is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get into your nail brand because you have your own line of nail polishes and you also
Yes,
have your
ma'am.
own cuticle oils, buffers. So what has been your whole experience starting in doing like your whole nail brand, Pattie Yankee nail polish and all the products?
Well, I really love New York City Fashion Week. So I was working with, like I mentioned, I worked with Dashing Diva Nail Salon, like their franchise company for many years. I worked in product development with them, and they had their own nail polish brand, but they were actually getting rid of it because they were starting their franchises. So I had always wanted to do it. Rachel Ray's been one of my clients for years, and she kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to do something. So when they got rid of theirs, I was talking to her about it over a service, and she's like, "Now's your time. You need to do it right now because then you can just take over all those clients." So I started it exactly then when they did it, and I remember I got my polish in December, and by February I had 30 runway shows underneath my brand because I had all the companies that the designers that Dashing Diva had worked with previously,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have polish anymore, so they didn't want to do it. So I just took them over. So that was really like, it was a really great for me, and it was a like perfect opportunity for me to launch everything. It's been difficult though. I mean, I've learned a lot along the way. I learned like every day I learned something new. But even during the pandemic, I learned a lot because when I sent Chrissy Teigen nails and she posted the thing on Instagram, I got this influx of orders, and I really wasn't prepared to handle it at that level. So, I remember calling the people, my friend at Dashing Diva, and she said, she's like, "Don't worry, you make mistakes and this is how you learn." So,
Mm-hmm.
you learn as you go along, and then I won the grant program with Sally Beauty Supply when I got my Inspire nails in the Sally Beauty Supply stores. And with that experience, I learned a whole plethora of other things. I learned about manufacturer's insurance that I didn't even think about previously,
Mm-hmm.
and having, when you have your own line, just like, a website of your own, and you don't really deal with anybody but, mail orders and stuff like that. You don't really think about having barcodes and
Right.
stuff like that. So I went into all that, learned about packaging, learned about case packaging. There's just so many things that I learned about that expanded. So it's been a growing experience, but it's exciting. I just rebranded my packaging, and I'm excited because it's going to come out in May. I have new bottles, new packaging, new logo. So I'm really excited about that.
Wow, congratulations.
I don't know if that answered everything, but
Yeah, that answered the question. But
okay.
the huge thing that you mentioned was a manufacturer's license. And I didn't even think about that either, because I thought like, oh, you can just, you know, talk to manufacturers, do a nail polish line, and then it'll come out. But I didn't know like the
Mhm.
whole entire process about that.
Yeah, having that insurance is like, that was like that was a big eye opener because it was expensive and I wasn't prepared for it at the time. So like thankfully the grant money from Sally Beauty covered that, a lot of it, but I had not even thought about that. Like what if something happens, to somebody, if they get a reaction to your product.
Mm-hmm.
That way you're covered. And when you distribute through a bigger company like that, a major company,
Right.
you have to have that because they have to be protected as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Now I want to get into fashion. So you've been doing the nails for the fashion shows. So what has been like your whole experience working with fashion brands and doing like nails for different fashion shows?
That is my thing. I love it. I love it. It's almost like it becomes like a drug almost, if I can say that. Um because I'm like a small brand, when you work for other companies, you get paid. But me as a small brand, we don't get paid. Normally the companies don't get paid. A lot of times the nail companies have to pay the designers to do their shows. It didn't used to be like that, but it happened, maybe in the past like 10 to 12 years it's been like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's exciting, like going, meeting the designers, like choosing the colors, choosing the look, choosing the designs. It's really like an awesome process, and it's really fun. And I love to be the one that I'm very particular about Fashion Week. I have my little kits all made up ahead of time. I have my little cases all packed up so that the girls have everything they need. And I always get compliments on how well my kit is put together for the girls, but it just became like the thing that I like to do. So now it's kind of, I just love it. Even if, I spend time doing it, you don't get paid. I don't care. I love doing it. And I love that I can give nail techs, like new nail techs, the opportunity to experience Fashion Week I like to take girls that haven't worked Fashion Week that really want to do it and they want to come in and have that experience and take them under my belt and teach them like what it's like to work a fashion show, and show them what it's like and let them experience like seeing a runway show because a lot of times I can take the girls in backstage and let them see it. So, and this way, once they work for me, they can go on to another company that is a bigger company that can perhaps pay them, and it'll make it worth their while so they can grow. So I love that about it, that I can bring new nail techs in so they can get an experience and grow from working with me.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely incredible because I love how with fashion nails are just as much of a statement piece as the garment. And I love
They are.
nail art and where it's going and how the nails look so cool and all these different types of designs. Like, for example, when you look at C&D and the blondes, like their nails are out of this world for the blondes and it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's so great. It's great when you get those designers that let you do that. Sometimes you get the ones that are just like, no, I just want nude, and so you
Right.
have to do nude on natural nails. And you're like, yeah, okay. But it's not as fun, but it's still exciting to be in that environment because it's so fast paced and it's just a great environment. But it's definitely a plus if you get to do some crazy cool nail art, for the designers and collaborate with them. I remember one show we did with Christian Carino, I think his name is. And I did it with Dashing Diva, and we actually developed like some of their gloss strips, like to
Oh,
match their clothes,
mhm.
their line. So that was a really one of my favorite ones that I've done.
That's really,
Yeah,
really
doing this.
cool. Now, I want to get into in terms of pricing. What is your whole take on for someone to how to price like their nail services, or if they're selling a nail polish on, how does one go about charging their products or their services
And for the services or for the products or both?
for both?
Um, for the services, I like to I kind of think that it's a good idea to have a fair market value of your environment. You like know what environment you're in and your demographics and what kind of clientele you have. And as you grow and as you get education, every time you get education, you raise your prices. Every year you raise your prices, especially if you're booked full time, you need to raise your prices every year. Um, I like to tend to be like, I would rather charge a little bit more on the high end. I prefer to do and take my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy that actually I told you about from Florida that talked to me about doing nails. He said to me, Patty, it's better if you do one person perfect than 10 people just average. He said, do that one person perfect and charge for it instead of just, doing 10 people just to get the income in. So I am a little bit on the higher end. I prefer doing, charging a little bit on the higher end for my demographic. Um, Plus with my experience as well, of course, but I always did a little bit higher because I took my time. I do take longer than the average person. Nowadays, it's not that doesn't take that, my time that I take is about the average. For me to do a regular gel manicure, I need like 2 hours because that's how long it takes me. I'm very particular about doing the cuticles and I analyze everything on their nails.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's helpful to you, that answer. I mean, I don't know if you want me to give you actual dollar signs, but I just believe in checking out your environment so you're not too high
Mm-hmm.
priced above your demographics so that you don't get clients in.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as products, you have to base the products on your cost, and then it's always like doubling your cost, and then plus if you have insurances or anything else that you have to do, you have to factor those in with your products. And that's actually goes the same for services. You have to factor all these things in, your lighting, your rent, and everything else that you use, your products, everything that you use to do a service, you have to factor that in the cost of your prices for your nails for your services that you're doing.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of like when you do like I see a lot of people, especially myself, we do like press on nails and
Mm-hmm.
we have to factor in not only those everyday things, but also in terms like the materials, the time we put in to do the custom design press on nails because the products we use are not cheap.
Right.
Like the whole bottle of a C&D bottle or like a Madame Glam bottle would be like $17-$20 possibly. So we have to pay for materials, and a lot of stuff costs money. So we have to charge what we're worth because we're spending the time, the materials, and we're using high quality products.
Right. And, and the time, I feel like a lot of people don't factor in the time, which is a very important thing. Time is really important. Like you mentioned, the time you put into for those press-on nails, you have to charge for that time that you're spending, and it can go up to like hundreds, for your press-on nails. But that's the cost of the products, high quality products, and the time that you're putting into making those nails.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get into editorials. So you've done nails for Harper's Bazaar and Avenue Magazine. So what has been your whole experience working with different editorials?
That I love doing that too. I do love doing that. I kind of I always get kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie when I go, because I kind of like to know what to expect. I don't like going into those situations without knowing what I'm gonna do, because I'm like this OCD, I want to be prepared person. So for the most part, when people mention editorials, I always get this like, oh, in my stomach, because I'm always like, oh, is it going to be, am I going to have the right stuff? Because it can be you grab everything. Like if you can't get a direction from, the beauty editor or something, like sometimes you can't, if you go through your agent, they try to get as much as they can, but if you can't, you're always like, okay, I'll take like a little bit of everything. And then it always seems like it's that one thing you left home. You said like, oh, should I bring this? No, they're not going to want that. And then you like, that's the thing that they wanted. So that's how I feel about editorials. But I mean, they're fun. They're like, it's an all day thing usually. And they're not my favorite. I have to say they're not my favorite things to do, but they are cool. It's great seeing your work like in print and stuff like that on the cover of magazines. It's really great. Fortunately for me, I've been a lot of them that I've done with my celebrity clients. So I kind of knew already what I had to do, but the ones that I didn't, I always get that little pit in my stomach. I'm going to have the right products and the right things, because, I noticed it's a lot different in, New York than LA. This just like dawned on me recently, actually, in like the past couple of years, that, in New York, we usually carry everything, we have to carry everything on probably like a train or something like that. We use public transportation to get to the city, most of us, I feel like. And in LA, they always have a car. So if they don't have something that they need, they can just go out to their car and pop their trunk, and they have, what they need in their trunk. So I feel like that's like, it just gets so heavy carrying like all the nail polish and everything. So for me, sometimes I try to eliminate things so I can make my load lighter to carry on the train. So that's where I get stuck on editorials. But for the most part though, it's great seeing them, your nails in print, like I said, and it's fun. It's always a fun day. You always meet cool people. You meet new photographers, new hairdressers, new makeup artists. So it's a great experience.
Oh, that's incredible. I want to get into working with celebrities. So you've done nails for Priyanka Chopra and Katy Perry. And I wanted to really ask, like, what is like the whole scheduling like? Like if you get called to do Priyanka's nails or Katie's nails, like what's that whole schedule? Like what's the scheduling like in terms of working with them?
They could call you the night before. You could have like, you could just have a few hours to get ready to go, but most of the time they'll give you like a little bit of notice, probably, like maybe like 5 days, a week ahead of time, they'll give you notice. And when you get there, it's usually in a glam session. So you get like a couple of hours, 2.5 hours to get everything done. It's very fast paced. It's very uncomfortable most of the times, because unfortunately for us, the nail techs were kind of squished under everybody else. It's the makeup artists and the hairdressers, they, of course, because that's more visible. If they're going to be on a runway or something, they usually get the majority of the space in whatever environment you're in. So you're usually in a very uncomfortable environment. And you can't, I never feel like any kind of way about that, because I just understand that's the way it is. I just have to get my job done. So I just go in, if I have to crawl underneath the table, if I have to do whatever I have to do, I just get in and do what I have to do. And a lot of times you have to stop because they got to get up and try on their clothes, or, Katie and Priyanka both, especially both of them, they're really into their eyebrows. So they're really fanatical about having their eyebrows right. So many times you have to stop while they're, checking out their eyebrows and readjusting, like with the makeup artist, their eyebrows. And the worst thing you have to deal with, I feel like, with celebrities is that if you're doing a gel manicure, you're doing gel polish on them, and they start fiddling with something on their face when they need to be in the light curing their gel, it's like disaster, because by the time their hand comes back to you, sometimes they'll just stick it right in automatically, and then you have to pull it out and you'll see it's, it's already started to like cure, and it's halfway run into their cuticles and everything else. So that's the biggest challenge you face. But it's it's usually a short time, 2.5, 3 hours. It's very fast paced. It's exciting, and it's just it's exciting, and it's exhilarating, like the fashion week. It's the same kind of fast pace as fashion week, but only with one person, and trying to get everything done quickly and get the look all together and coordinate with the makeup and the hair and everything, and get everything finished in time for them to get where they have to go, on the red carpet or wherever they have to be.
Now, I want to switch gears and talk about nail judging. So what has been your experiences being a nail judge for different nail competitions?
Oh, that's been great. I actually I just got certified with Lisa, because she has a couple years ago. Hers is an international competition, so I can't wait till I can travel internationally, now since the pandemic is over, and go judge competitions with her. But I love doing it. I love seeing like the different techniques of, up and coming nail techs. I love seeing the skills that they have. I love,
Mhm.
it's just awesome looking at how great that they are. And I remember my first days competing, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't this good when I started out. It's really
Right.
it's awesome. Like just seeing like the potential and the talent of a lot of these techs that are out there competing. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of like competing, because I compete in nail competitions, I compete in nails like top nail artists recently. That was an interesting
Which
experience.
one did you compete in?
I compete in season 8 of Nails like top nail artists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, the season that just came on like the last year online. And I thought that was like a very cool, incredible experience, just doing all these cool nails, and you guys spend a lot of hours just doing a big body of work. And I also do like Nail Olympia, Nail Olympia
Hmm.
online, and that's a really great experience as well. So it's really interesting to see how a lot of these nail competitions, they give you a plethora of challenges to choose from and categories to choose from. It's like, this whole melting pot of different things you can do.
Yeah. A lot of the ones that I've judged in the past have been like, what I love judging is the pink and white, like the
Mhm.
sculpted nails and stuff like that. Those get really challenging to judge, as a matter of fact, because your eyes start going crazy after a while, because you start going, is this good or is this bad? Is this good or is this bad? Because you start really analyzing the smile lines and the C curves, and the thickness of the free edge and stuff like that. And it's just, those are the ones I love judging those, because it gets so intricate. You have to just really focus and laser focus on what you're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get into and ask you about the whole progression of the nail industry from how you first started in the nail industry to now. What is your whole take in terms of the whole progression of the nail industry and where it's going?
Um, I feel like it's good in some ways, and it's not good in some ways. I feel like it's grown, it's expanded, so a lot more people are, making money and becoming nail techs and providing for the families, and making an income doing nails. But like I mentioned before, the only thing that I do not like about it is it's becoming too it's just not respected. I don't feel as much as it used to be in the past. I feel like the licensing is like, it's lax. Even the state of New York, they've slacked a lot on like some of the requirements to get a license. And I feel like that part of it isn't good, because I do feel like we mentioned before that, the health of the nail, and knowing what you're doing, and knowing if you're cutting people in the wrong way or cutting cuticles and damaging the nail plate or the nail unit, a lot of that isn't being taught, or a lot of it isn't being you know you don't notice enough about that, in the nail industry. So it's really starting to, I feel like it's almost a little bit making it not as prestigious, if I could say that. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like I might be the only one that matters to, but it does affect like the way I view it. I I don't know. I feel like it's important that we know the health of people's nail plates and what we're doing to them, and that we can see the health of their bodies through what we're doing on their nails. But I feel like a lot of that's missing now because it's getting too infiltrated, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just this,
Mhm.
it's too many people doing it that are learning from home and not going through school and not going through the proper steps so they can have that good educational foundation.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
in the sense of like as a nail industry growing, I mean, it's good, it's great that it's growing. I just wish that it
Mhm.
would grow with a little bit more depth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that because I think the foundation is very important. And I recently took a nail course with Vanny Projects about nail prep, and that helped me a lot because that's very, very important. If anything, like how you said, the foundation is important. It's like building a house. If you don't have that
Exactly.
foundation, it could look good, but it could easily get torn down.
Collapse. Yep.
It could collapse,
Yep.
so I definitely believe and agree that the foundation, understanding nail disorders and disease and understanding proper nail prep and nail care is very, very important. And I think even though, of course, we have a lot of these cool nail products that are out, like these different gels, we have 3D gel out, things to help shorten the nail service so that way it doesn't take a lot of time. And I think even though with those nail products that are out, I think the education should be focused more, like how you said.
Yep, I agree. I don't know, do you know the Marion Newman that has a nail knowledge course? She's from
Uh,
the UK.
yeah, I
It's an
know.
online course. Yeah, that's like
Mhm.
I've recently just discovered that, and I just the way she explains things through that her whole educational course, I'm really about it. I think it's really great.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. The foundation is very, very important.
Hmm.
And the thing is also too, like how I said, with nail competitions, like there's a plethora of challenges and categories that you can compete in, ranging from like pink and white,
Right.
manicure, flat art box, fantasy. It is absolutely incredible. And I interviewed Liv Simmons and Catherine Wong, and hearing their experiences competing, and their nail art is absolutely incredible.
Right. I know Catherine's awesome. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I can definitely agree, like it's progressing, but it could be better.
Hmm. Yeah, could be deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how would you define success?
I feel like success is just it's based on like you're an individual. You know what I mean? If you've accomplished your goals or goals that you set out to do, what looks like success to somebody else might not be success to you.
Mhm.
There's things that I have that I wanted to accomplish, and as I accomplish them, I feel like successful because I accomplished those steps along the way. You
Mm.
know, um, Society looks at it different. I feel like society looks at it, they think I'm successful because that word is very hard for me to say today. Like I'm successful because, I work with celebrities and I do fashion week and I have my own product line. But for me, I feel like there's still a lot more that there's a lot more goals that I want to achieve. So in my mind, I'm not there yet. I don't feel like I'm successful yet because I'm not where personally I feel that I want to be, you know,
Mhm.
as far as being successful. So it all depends on the person, I believe, if you feel like you've attained your goals, that you want to attain, that makes you successful in that area, When I started my own product line, I felt successful because I accomplished that goal that I had to start my own brand. But now it's like at a different level because I'm rebranding, and I as I went through the years with my brand, the way it looked, I said like I want something different. I want to change it. So now I feel successful because I've changed my brand and I feel excited about, launching a new brand. So I feel like it's all relative to the person, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I can agree with that because like I had those feelings too, where it's like I don't feel like I'm there yet, at the top
Hmm.
of the mountain because I feel like I have so much more to accomplish. And I could definitely agree. And I'm 25. So that's the entire thing. But also too, I think self-care is very important. And I speak with this a lot with people that I've interviewed is about the importance of self-care. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely believe that self-care and take care of your mental health is also the way of maintaining that success, and especially maintain that work ethic in itself of what you love to do.
Right. And you need something, you need a release for sure. I tend to be a workaholic. I can work 16 hours a day if I have to, and it doesn't faze me because it's fun. I feel like I love my job. I love what I do. So it's not really like work, but you still need like a release. So for me, it's like, as I told you, I always dance. And now I found a different form of dance, like salsa dancing. So I'll
Mhm.
do that a couple of days a week just for like a release. You need the release. I need like my prayer time. I need my time in church on Sunday.
Right.
I need those things to, refresh my mind and refresh my energy.
Mhm. Yeah,
You're
that
absolutely right about that self-care. Yeah.
yeah, and also to like celebrating the small achievements, small accomplishments. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be something very huge. Like when you celebrate
Exactly.
the small steps that you take in terms of your lifetime and what you do, I think that's success in itself also.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I even feel successful when one of my clients' nails start growing after they were biting them for so long, things
Mhm.
like that, or, every little thing makes you feel successful. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, considering that you've been in the industry for decades and you're well known in the nail industry, I want to ask this one wonderful, spectacular question. How would you
Okay.
define your legacy? How would you want to be remembered?
Hmm. I would want to be remembered for doing excellent work, and for trying to help others grow and become excellent as well in the nail industry. I believe that would about sum it up because I'm very adamant about doing my work perfect, no matter how long it takes. That my celebrity clients make fun of me. They're like, Patty, it's good enough. And I said, it's not good enough for me. It's good enough for me, then
Right.
you can be free. But that's my thing. If it's good enough for me, then you can be free. But if it's not, then I'm not done.
Mhm.
So I believe that would be about it. That, I want to be known for doing excellent work and like relaying the excellent work to others and helping them become excellent as well.
Absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your business?
Okay, I'm Pattie Yankee, Pattie Yankee, and I also have Pattie Yankee Products, which is my product page. Also on Facebook is Pattie Yankee. I have a YouTube Pattie Yankee. So it's all with the IE, and you can support me by purchasing my products on my website. It's pattieyankee.com. And I have like you could put in pro code for any of the pros that are listening. Just put in PROCODE pro code, and you'll get like pro discount 40% off my products. Anybody that wants to purchase any.
Great. That's absolutely great. Well, thank you so much, Patty, for jumping onto the show. You're an absolute legend in the nail industry. And I want to thank Lauren Wireman for helping me connect to you. I've always wanted to interview you, and, the work that you're doing is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.